Welcome to Real Estate Coaching Radio, starring award-winning real estate coaches and #1 international best-selling authors, Tim and Julie Harris. Real Estate Coaching Radio is the nation's #1 daily radio show for realtors who demand authentic, real-time coaching. Get ready for fluff-free, unfiltered, full-strength honesty about what's truly working to get you into action, helping others, and making money now in today's real estate market. Now to our hosts, Tim and Julie Harris.
Welcome back. We have, I think, probably our most commented on return guest host today, Collette McDonald. We normally do these interviews on Friday, but Collette is so busy with her real estate practice and other things that she's involved in that we could only get her on today's show. So I'm very, very proud and happy to welcome back Collette McDonald, and she's prepared a kick-ass outline based on a podcast that we did interviewing her not so long ago, talking about specifically how maybe you, we don't really know for sure, but how you probably can become a Bravo TV star or how you can become an HGTV star. And she's written an exact outline and presentation that we're going to be sharing with you guys on today's podcast. So Collette, without any further delay, welcome to today's podcast.
Thank you very much. What a great introduction. Yes, anyone can do this because there's so many platforms out there and people are looking for strong content and media experts.
That's right. Hey, Collette, is there any way you could make your audio a little bit louder?
Sure.
Okay.
Let me
All right.
that.
So
How's that
here's
sound? Any better?
Oh, 1,000 times better. All right. So here's what I want to do. I want to start out by Collette has already given me permission to ask her this, so this is good. Sometimes I ask guests for their cell phone numbers, and it's really funny to listen to them stall out and try to analyze whether or not they should give out their cell phone numbers because they know how many people listen to this show. But I know Collette will give her cell phone number out, so everyone write this number down. Collette?
404-384-0850, and that is my direct cell, so you can call me or text me.
Okay, so you want to write that number down because you're going to want to text her, probably call her after today's show and ask her questions about what we're talking about. I'm just telling you guys, this is not the normal type of information that you're ever going to hear people talking about publicly because this is kind of the super secret backdoor way where you can literally get on one of these TV shows or actually propose and have your own TV show designed around an idea you have. So your cell phone number again is
404-384-0850.
All right, there you go. All right, so Collette, talk to them about, well, first of all, we need to let them know because not everyone's going to be a Collette fan. They won't necessarily know who you are, right? They'll know who you are, then they'll be your fan, of course. But tell them a little bit about your real estate background so they know you're not just a pretty face on TV.
Okay, so I've been doing this just a little over 19 years, almost 20 years, but I come from a real estate generational family. I grew up in this business. My father was a broker in Wisconsin, and my undergraduate degree was actually in radio, TV, film, and I thought I was going to be a television star until I figured out, guess what? They don't make that much money. So I went into sales and operations, was an executive for 15 years, came into real estate 19 years ago right at 9/11, and I'm so glad that I did because not only have I been able to use my educational background, but also my experience as an executive with helping relocation clients. And, of course, I love a profit, and real estate is a great way to be able to take care of my family in the way that they need to be taken care of, and I want to take care of them. So that's how I got involved in real estate. And over the last 19 years, I've sold over $300 million in real estate sales by myself. So I love it. I'm now, as you know, Tim, you've been coaching me for 10 years, and now I'm one of your accredited coaches, and I love teaching other agents how to be this successful and using tips and tricks that we've developed over the years to give them a little bit of an outline. And today we're going to be talking about how to become a media expert in anyone's location, not just in major metropolitan areas like I live in, Atlanta, but you can do it in Poughkeepsie, New York.
So, guys, we're going to be giving you a lot of details. Actually, what we're going to do is we're going to cover the major topics, and then if you want all the details, which all of you will want, she's actually put together a really kick-ass outline, and we're going to tell you in a second how you can just get a free copy of this. You're going to have to text the word expert. Well, I'll just tell you now. Text the word expert, EX, PERT to 31996, and she's going to text you right back the actual outline with all the details, because she's got so much detail to this presentation that we don't have time in our podcast a lot of time to actually give you all the the drill down stuff. So you're going to want those notes. So text the word expert, EXPERT, to 31996, expert, EXPERT, to 31996. All right, so Collette, I was reading your outline, and I was actually surprised, and not surprised at the same time, that so many different companies are looking for media. They're looking for new creative ideas for shows and whatnot. So can you let folks know about essentially the huge demand for content?
Sure. If you think about it, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, we just had ABC, NBC, PBS. Now, with the explosion of the internet, we have platforms and streaming content that are competing with the big networks. So you'll have production companies, and we can go a little bit into detail on production companies next, but you'll have people who are looking to sell ideas to streaming content providers. YouTube, Facebook are becoming huge. Apple TV, Netflix, Prime, all of those are competing for the audience that used to be on the networks like NBC, CBS, and TLC, and Bravo, and HGTV. So because there's so much more content-driven areas, people want your ideas. They want to understand what's going to get people excited. And we know how exciting HGTV is and Bravo is to folks out there. I call it something else. I won't say on this superstar interview, but if you talk to me, I'll tell you what I think it is. But they'll be looking at it. They put it in the background so that it's almost like a babysitter. I don't know if you've gone to a closing recently, but in my closing attorney's offices, they have HGTV playing in the background. That's how important it has become to our culture. And if you have an idea or if you want to get exposed to this, you have opportunities that weren't there 5 years ago.
Well, so you said a lot of things, but in particular, what I think folks need to understand is, yes, and you guys probably know Collette from actually being on cable TV because she's been on, TV shows. But in addition to that, you have a lot of streaming content, which is not on the cable TV shows necessarily. They're just on mobile devices. And that's many of you already know what I'm saying is true, but people are prescribing subscribing to Apple TV and Netflix and all these other mediums. And you can watch your TVs and your movies and whatnot, but now they're actually producing what she's describing, which is content that's just for streaming on your mobile device. And that's the huge, like on this podcast, for example, guys, on a really good show, we'll have something like 30,000 downloads and streams. But like 98% of those are all on mobiles. People are listening to these on, our show on, obviously their cell phones, and that's pretty amazing. And they're also consuming content, TV and videos and whatnot. So this should be old news to most of you. So Collette, let's get into the weeds and how these guys can actually not just maybe be on an existing platform, but also maybe propose their own so they can start their own show.
Absolutely. And a great example is if you go to my website, it's ColetteMcDonald.com. And I actually have a series that I produced 2 years ago called Renovation Reality. And I created this with a cell phone, a tripod, and that was it. And Movie Maker was my editor. And I did little vignettes, 5 minutes per episode on going through a renovation. And we went through the start from when we were looking at plans all the way to the reveal party. And that was done over 2 years ago. And I did it on my cell phone. I posted it on YouTube. I have it on my website. And I still get great feedback and content requests from that. I have people who are looking to cast shows that contact me. I have people who are looking to write articles for RSI and Inman based upon not only the fact that I've been in other articles and on HGTV through Bang for Your Buck, My First Place, and Design to Sell, but because I have this renovation reality series that I've posted on my own website, as well as the videos I do for all of my listings and areas in Atlanta, I'm seen as an expert, and they can actually pull these links down, watch me real quick, get an idea of my personality and knowledge base, and then they reach out to me. So if you've got an idea, I would tell you, I'm happy to coach you up. You can text me, like we said. You can send expert to our text line 31996, and I can give you some ideas and send you an outline of how to create it so that you get maximum exposure for the content that you're looking to provide. Really what the big guys are looking for right now are ideas that they can pitch to the networks. You've got production houses out there that's their job of creating high-end quality 30-minute episodes, but they all start out on small
let's level
treatments.
off there. But let's level off there, okay? So here's what she's saying. And again, when you guys text the word expert to 31996, you'll get this outline. But what she's saying is there's actual, and a lot of these companies, interestingly enough, they're based in like Nashville, Tennessee, aren't they? So there's these companies that are actually essentially
Denver, Nashville, L.A. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and she knows obviously who a lot of these companies are. She has contacts, and they are constantly, they're like agents looking for listings, right? They're constantly looking for new content. And what she's saying is they'll get a lot of proposals that are poorly written, not proposed correctly, kind of sloppy, the concept isn't very good, all kinds of things. And what Collette's saying, what she knows how to do, and she's going to show you guys how to do it, and for free, by the way, if you're interested in this, just text the word expert to 31996, is she's going to actually show you how to put a proposal together and then just send it to them. And what they then do is you pick it up from there. This is you're the expert on this, not me. So let's say you put together your series of videos together, and I love how you added in there, Collette, that you use an iPhone. That was awesome. Letting them know that it doesn't have to be that complicated. And then you put the videos together. You show, you don't even have to do videos. You could just do a written proposal, couldn't you?
Absolutely. You don't have to be intimidated by video. A lot of people are, so don't be intimidated by it. There's several different ways that you can use this to leverage your real estate business, right? So one of the things, you can write an episode or write an idea to HGTV or the production houses that you think could be on either a network or on a streaming platform, right? But you want to give these ideas out and try to become their expert in the field. Because, for instance, I was approached last week for casting of an extreme home makeover tour that they wanted to launch on a platform or a streaming device. It's not even going out to the major networks yet. So if you can there are a few key terms in this business, right? So when you're thinking about pitching an idea, and it can be as little as, Tim, as getting your feet wet in your local market and becoming an industry expert for your television stations as well as your newspaper stations, or your newspapers, not stations, because they all have online content as well. So there are a few key terms. Assignment editors for television. You want to know who your assignment editors are. So let's start out small, and maybe we've got an idea in our local market. Maybe we've got a great listing, for instance, that may have a historical bent or might be really unique, that you want to pitch an idea to an assignment editor. You call up that assignment editor because every single day they're looking for eyeballs in your local market. They want fresh stories. And even if you're not on camera, which you might not want to be, you get to maximize the exposure of your listing. Or say you've got a really good buyer story, someone that's come back from wherever, and you want to pitch it to that assignment editor for the television. That's an idea. For your newspapers, every single newspaper loves real estate sections because real estate agents buy ads, lenders buy ads. People try to get in front of people who are buying and selling houses all the time. If you can find the editor for your local paper and start pitching ideas, maybe it's a buyer, maybe it's a seller idea, maybe it's a market in general, you'll start to get traction. Let me give you one example. I pitched an idea to a local newspaper about 5 years ago. That idea was right around Halloween, and I said, hey, I want to tell you what we do in houses that have negative energy. Maybe there's been a divorce. Maybe there's been something traumatic.
I was hoping you were going to talk about this idea because this show would have been so cool. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, it's actually, nothing ever dies in TV. It just changes, okay? Every sitcom you've ever seen is just something that's already been done with a new bent. It's the same thing with these shows. So about 5 years ago, pitched this idea. It's haunted. What do you do if you think your house is haunted? You have a cleanser come in, a spiritual healer, a priest, someone who's going to bless the house. People believe in it. If you look back on, there's every single religion, every single belief, there is some sort of blessing that people do in their house, saging, whatever. You tie into those beliefs, and the AJC, which is the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, bought in. And they said, oh, that's a great idea. They did a full spread with me, my cleanser. It was great. But what was great about that was the social media postings that I could send out to all of my clients, all my sphere of influence, that they knew that I was constantly being featured in our local newspaper, not only nationally in other television shows, but locally. But what even continued down the road, because nothing ever dies. Everything's online now. So I had 2 years ago a production company, and production companies are the people who develop these shows, and then they sell them to the platforms. And the platforms can be the major networks or the streaming devices we've talked about, and they're getting more and more prevalent. And they are dying to get these shows sold. So they came to me and said, we have an idea, and we want to pitch you being part of this deal. And I had to sign a talent release. I pitched it with another couple of folks. And the whole story was, remember, nothing ever dies. They just create a different television show out of it. They took the most popular of television shows out there, which are flipping shows, and then took the bent of the shows that are like Ghostbusters out there, hauntings shows. Those paranormal shows are very successful and popular. And the only reason they got a hold of me was because they had seen that I was an expert in Atlanta, and that article came up. So we went through the process, and we're still pitching it, guys. You're starting to see some of these shows coming about in different markets where they're going into stigmatized properties, and they're flipping it, and they're focusing on three main components. The story of the stigma, maybe it's haunted, maybe something awful happened there, like, think about it, Helter Skelter houses, John Benet Ramsey's house, where things have happened, people don't want to purchase it. And they go in with a cleanser or a spiritual advisor, a real estate agent, and a flipper. So they're selling these types of ideas to the major networks. And if the major network doesn't take it, a streaming platform network will take it, or the production company may decide to develop themselves and throw it out as content on YouTube, because what happens is you've got the pilot and then you've got 6 episodes. If you get traction and eyeballs, then they can go sell it in a different way to those more popular networks. And that's how it happens. That's how Property Brothers and Chip and Joanna Gaines get really successful. It doesn't happen overnight. You've got to start out small. You've got to understand the process. And if you've got a great idea, go for it.
Well, so here's the other thing that's interesting. Julie and I probably 10 times have been approached by these little guys, probably mostly because they know we're associated with you, Collette, truthfully, asking us if we wanted to participate in something, and every single proposal they had for us or idea that they wanted us to video conference us about was about home flipping shows. And we've intentionally wanted to stay out of the investor space. That's not just something, there's too much swarmy stuff in the investor space. We didn't want to be associated. Whether that was a smart business move or a dumb business move, I have yet to determine. But the moral of the story is, listen to what she just said. The flipping space, guys, if you wanted to be on, have a TV show, or if you wanted to, like say, for example, you don't want to do what Collette does. I mean, Collette's essentially she started out by being a TV star, and now essentially what she's doing is she's essentially a turnkey, like one-stop, everything you need to know how to get your show on TV, because she's been on 3 different shows, and she's pitching and proposing her own shows now. But yeah, guys, look at the low-hanging fruit. My point I was making is the flipping shows, that, like she said, anything to do with investing. No matter what direction the economy goes, people are still wanting to invest in real estate, and people are seeing, well, real estate is one of the best ways to build wealth in the world. So that's a good genre. You heard her talk about the whole haunted ghost thing. That's another genre. There's couples shows. There are all these different things. Ask yourself, what do you watch when you're channel surfing with that glass of wine in your hand at night? Because I'm quite convinced that none of these shows would exist without alcohol. I mean, I don't think anyone can argue that point. But anyway, when you're channel surfing, where do you stop? And so, how can you see yourself in doing a show like that? So let's say, for example, you can. And let's say you want to just, you have maybe a little bent on it. And Collette started out by hosting on these shows. They would call her out just because of the fact that she was, she's a tall, beautiful blonde lady who knows real estate and she can present. You listen to her talk, Well, maybe you're that. Maybe you're not ready to take it to a point where she's taken it, where she's essentially producing her own shows now. Maybe you want to do just a presenter. Well, connect through these connections that she's got, and you'll have to, I'm sure, send them a little video so they can see what you look like and how you present. And you never know. I mean, they might have a killer idea someplace, like the shows they were pitching Julie and I for, and that, they're looking for people to host them, something like that. So open your mind to this. So, Collette, let's talk about how you specifically spin all of this notoriety and being famous in the real estate, entertainment realm. How do you spin that into actually making money selling real estate?
Well, first of all, if you don't have your social media, if you're not on every single social media platform, that's the first thing you have got to do. You have got to have a strong LinkedIn. You've got to have a strong Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of those sites. You've got to have a platform to then post what you're doing in your celebrity world, so to speak, or what you're doing to bring and add value to your client. So, again, people love the fact that I am out there, that I do talk about real estate, that I am the media expert, that I'm pushing it hard, because if I'm pushing my client's listing out in front of an HGTV or on my social media platform that I have a bunch of followers, they feel as though they want to work with me because I'm giving them an extra value add. From time to, all the time, I get clients that will call me up or email me and say, hey, if you've got HGTV looking for a kitchen renovation, I'm available. And I always giggle at that because I'm like, guys, FYI, HGTV is not going to pay for your kitchen renovation. HGTV utilizes that end users, right? They want to use that end user who they're going to focus on the fact that they want to show off what they did in their kitchen. The only time that HGTV, Bravo, or any of these shows have the budget to actually do the renovations for your clients or for yourselves is if it's an extreme makeover situation. For instance, last week I was contacted to cast for an extreme makeover edition that had to do with people who have had tough things happen to them in their lives, right? What has happened that they would really need a renovation that would change their lives. Think of extreme home makeover. It was very, very popular 10 years ago. Then it's all of a sudden it died down, right? Because the flipping shows started. But they're coming back because there's so many platforms and there's so many sad stories that if you can get a really good traction with some sort of tragedy or sad story, they want to feature it and people will give their services for free. Back in the day when HGTV was doing design to sell, this is a great concept that you could actually, as a person in whatever city, whatever state you're in, you could do this yourself. You could contract with your sellers. This is in your listing program, and you could say, hey, if you're interested, I'd like to create a small web-based platform show based upon getting your house ready for sale. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and stage it. We're going to say befores and afters. It's going to be like 5 episodes, 5-minute long, to follow the process so that we can get more eyeballs on your house and get you a higher price for your house in the least amount of time with the fewest hassles. But let's create
Well, that's a killer listing tool, right? I mean, at the end of the day, being on TV shows, it's like who can compete with that?
You know what?
Yeah.
1% of your sellers will do it. 1%.
Yeah.
Not everyone wants to be on TV, but to have them say, or on web, focusing on their stuff, but to have that as an opportunity that you're willing to do it, that's a great thing. But also, credibility speaks volumes in our business. Real estate agents can be thought of very negatively in people's mindset, but if your local paper's calling you for insight into what's happening in the real estate world in your market, and that's another reason why I love Harris Real Estate University, is because they're also giving us so much content of what's happening internationally that we can drill down, take the same information, apply it to our local market, and then throw content ideas out to those local stations, because those guys are so hungry for stories. And then you use that when you're on television or when you've supplied a great soundbite or a great bite for a newspaper article that's online. You throw that out on your social media. And so everyone that is in your sphere understands that no matter if you've been in this business a week, you can be an expert, or if you've been in it 20 years, you can be an expert. But unless you're telling people what you're doing through your social media platforms, they're never going to know. So you've got to have your platforms up and running.
Let's drill down. Well, let's drill down on that, okay? Because these podcast listeners, they want to know about how they're going to make money from this, right? So if you have a big social media following, I mean, we're bouncing around here and there, guys, and like I said, there's a lot of drill down content that she's put together. Just text the word expert to 31996, and she'll send you her outline, and that's where all of our contents are and the exact how-to stuff. So this is just what we're trying to do is enlighten you guys to the opportunities that are out there. In the olden times, getting access to this type of information with regards to how to be on TV, let alone have your own TV show, this was something that you had to go through agents, you had to go through auditions. There was all kind of, extra effort. But nowadays, because of the social media platforms, if this is something you want to pursue, you really can quite easily. YouTube has people that are making millions of dollars because essentially they've got enough people that are watching their videos. I personally have some friends that make car videos that are making millions of dollars just because essentially what happens is that they make the videos, YouTube plays the videos, and if someone, depending on the deal that they've got, basically, if YouTube plays, they stick commercials on their videos, and then they rev share on the commercials. And I think that somebody has to only watch the commercial for long enough to click they don't want to watch it or whatever. It's like 5 seconds. And then the media content producer actually gets paid a commission on that. So a lot of these guys are making millions of dollars. And if you're putting all these pieces together, hypothetically, let's say maybe you don't even want to be on a HGTV or Bravo or whatnot. You could do your own thing, focusing on essentially YouTube and then scaling out through the different social networks. As far as the social networks goes too, you guys probably know this, but you can make money if you have enough people that are following you, and you can make money by essentially sponsors wanting to pay you straight money, or in some cases if you have a podcast, is another little interesting angle. Podcasts are essentially becoming the number one place that people get their information, outpacing everything else, including the essentially traditional TV, newspapers. I hesitate saying even the word newspaper because when's the last time you even had a newspaper in your hand, but you get the idea. The fact is that all this stuff is being replaced or is replaced by digital, and you can just, normal Joe and Josephine in the middle of, nowhere USA, you can actually have an international profile if you listen to some of the things that she's suggesting, and there are tons and tons of ways to make money. I know, Collette, for example, you made money because you get agents that will ask you for, or you have consumers that will contact you and asking you for referrals. You'll make money off referral fees. You'll make money off some of the product placement things we talked about. We obviously make money because you have an extra set of tools and attributes that, when you're competing for a listing, you're going to win. But here's another little interesting thing. Collette will show you guys, just text the word expert to 31996, how you can actually do a little location hunting and scouting for them. You had some of your own properties that you rented out to different TV shows, didn't you?
Absolutely. So you can, if you're in a market that they do some production shoots, even for television commercials, every location, no matter where you're at, people are shooting commercials for local vendors. And luckily, again, I'm in Atlanta, so I have posted not only my own home, but my clients' homes on location sites for video production. And what that means is that when scouts are looking in your area for commercials, television shows, or even movies, they go through the list and they say, okay, this house looks great for this and this house looks great for that. And I had an offer for $45,000 for 3 weeks of work for the Crazy Rich Asians sequel 2. I wasn't able to do it because it was during my son's graduation, unfortunately. I've actually shot political commercials at my own home that I was making $3,000 a day, and it's awesome cash. But for me to be able to say to my client, hey, I can actually set you up so that we're going to put this on as a location shoot because, yeah, your house might be the next best Stranger Things, or it could be the next house they just shoot another commercial that they want something that looks decent, that has great light. But it gives your client an extra push to list with you because they may have extra exposure. You, if you list your client's house, aren't going to make money off of that rental for that production, but you're giving that value add again to yourself for listing it with you. But also if you wanted to list your personal properties, you can make money that way as well.
Yeah, that's hilarious too. I know Julie's personally coaching Collette, and Julie's told me some of the stories of the different people that try to approach you sometimes to rent some of your own properties, and how they don't want you knowing who the client is. That you're almost getting, like an agent is approaching you to rent a space. I mean, wasn't there? I forget the one. I got to be careful where I ask you because I got to remember what it was. But wasn't there one in particular that wanted to rent a house from you, and then? Oh, it was political. You figured out who it was, and you said no way.
Yeah. Yeah. I was
awesome.
like, sorry, I don't go that way. No,
yeah,
I think actually what I did was I said that's fine as long as I can have the opponent's signs in the front yard while you're shooting the commercial, and then I'll give a percentage to my candidate's platform. So yeah, that was actually funny.
Well, so guys, I told you this was different. I told you this would open your eyes and your, hopefully your ears and your mind to the different opportunities that are out there. The real takeaway from all of this should be, if you guys are looking for a way to do something truly extraordinary, do what Collette did. She created an outline for you, and all you got to do is text the word EXPERT, E-X-P-E-R-T, to 31996, and literally she's going to text you directly back. I think it's that outline, but some other things too, so you guys can get started on this. And this is something that she's wanted to put together, and I'll give you a little secret. This content that she produced for you guys, that she put together for you guys, this might very well be the outline of maybe a YouTube TV show that's coming up that she's going to create, telling agents and other people how to have their own TV shows and how to be their own content producers. So you never know. This could be something that leads to something that leads to something else. I mean, that's the thing, a strange time that we're in. Yeah. I mean, it's amazing if all you guys did was took one of these ideas, for example, if you decided that, let's drill back down to what she said. She said something really critical. I wonder how many of you are listening. The local, we call them newspapers, but you guys know they're all mostly digital anymore, but they're always looking for real estate-related content. She mentioned the advertisers, agents, mortgages, and whatnot are always going to look for real estate-related content because it substantiates and reinforces their ads. But truly, everybody's real estate curious. There's nobody out there that's not going to want to read a story about, some ridiculous high-end sale or some haunted house or just something. And if you start producing content like that on a regular basis, they're going to definitely take the content. Getting real estate content on digital media sources is super easy. Don't be silly and just write stuff on your own listings unless it's something truly exceptional. But maybe you heard there's a new subdivision coming up. Or maybe there was a sale that just happened off market of some ridiculously amazing, historic, maybe horrible house. Who knows what? Those are the types of things that basically people are going to know about because everyone's nosy. Everyone's curious about that.
Right.
You could you could be writing. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. No, what I was going to say as well is you don't have to be a salty real estate agent that's been doing this for 20 years like I have. You can be a brand new real estate agent. You can be listening to your coaches at Tim and Julie, and they can be posting and having a podcast, right, about what's happening in the global market, that interest rates have just dropped. You could call an assignment editor and say, hey, I got a great story for you. Globally, interest rates are dropping, or sales are down year over year, or sales are up year over year. And I think it would be really smart to have a package, and that's the key word for television, package about what our local real estate market is doing in comparison to what's happening nationally. It could be really good. It could be bad. Or maybe you know of a big company that's relocating to the area. You could actually pitch an assignment editor, pitch the local editor at the newspaper, which is actually online content, on what that's going to do to the real estate market. Get thinking out of the box, because I guarantee you it's great. You can get your name on any one of these big names in your area, be it online, newspaper, or television, that you supplied them with this story, because they're going to quote you. And that's going to build momentum for your business.
Many of you can't write. I mean, you're functionally. I mean, I'm much better at talking than I am writing. For me to write a paragraph, it takes like an hour because I go back and edit it a million times, and then I have Julie check it to make sure how many things I screwed up. And Grammarly saves my ass every day. Okay, why am I telling you this? Because let's say you're like me, and you want to basically put a proposal together that's going to be video based. Do that. Send them a video. I mean, Collette kills it with bomb videos. Just that's an aside. But you send them a video. Send it to the assignment editor what your concept is in the form of a video. And then guess what? You might just actually be interviewed for the story opposed to them taking your content. And some of you, because just that alone, will have no problem whatsoever sending over proposals if you can do it on video. The bottom line is, guys, don't wait. Don't delay, because generally speaking, when you have that stranglehold on as a reliable source for real estate content for your local media outlets or even the national ones, they're not going to go looking for any more. They're just going to rely on you. And she said a great idea, too. I mean, look what's going on right now with the housing markets across the country. In some markets, they're dropping. Some markets, people are waiting around to see if it's going to go up or down. But interest rates are supposed to go down again. We're going to be having negative interest rates in this country, which effectively, though not, academically, but effectively means you're going to be paying to put your money in a bank. That's what a negative interest rate is. You'll lose money putting your money in the bank, and then interest rates are going to go lower. And when interest rates go lower, mortgage interest rates are going to go lower. When interest rates go lower, then what effect is that going to have on your market? You need to talk about these things because these are the things that people are going to be talking about themselves because they don't understand. So, guys, this is an interesting perspective on how if you want to really have – I mean, this to me, Collette, how long did it take for you to actually monetize this and make this into a viable income-producing spoke and move it away from the realm of basically a hobby and a passion? I mean, this is kind of a hobby and a passion for you. Immediately. So explain that.
It's a passion immediately. Oh, so what I want to get on my high horse here as well is that you have to service your clients, right? So you should be doing video. Video is the number one thing people click through on any of your postings, on any social media, and anything that you throw out there. People like to watch pictures. They like to look at your houses, and they will look at your video. So if you're not doing video for yourself, to highlight your clients' homes if you have listings, you've got to start doing it. And a real easy thing you can check out is my Instagram postings, which is Collette Knows Best. So that's ColletteKnow Best, okay? Or ColetteMcDonald.com or Collette McDonald on Facebook. But start checking out some of those little commercials that I do for my clients' listings. That is an immediate return because clients want you to sell their houses with video, and that's what clicks through. You can actually see on all your social media platforms how many views you're getting. I get over 2,000 views on my videos for my clients' listings. If I get less than that, I'm bummed out. But to answer your original question, how did I start to monetize this immediately? I started to become a resource for editorial content as well as these production companies that were creating shows in my market. I wasn't on air right away, but I was providing them with opportunities for houses to flip or houses to showcase. And I didn't have these houses. They weren't my listings, but because I was getting my foot in the door and starting to talk to some of these production houses, they were coming to me to say, hey, Collette, I need a house that is focused on this. And you know what I did? I would send out my email newsletter and say, hey, guys, I've got an opportunity. And even if they weren't my client, I would get forwarded emails off 5 people deep, and they would still call me. So I was expanding my network 5 times by just sending out an opportunity. And I didn't make one dime off that, but I got more credibility, and that led to more buyers and led to more sellers. And that's why I do over $30 million a year.
Yeah, and by the way, Collette, I almost forgot to ask you this, which is silly, But Collette McDonald was a top producing agent with RE/MAX. A lot of you guys know her from our past interviews. She's one of the top agents in Georgia, let alone the country, for RE/MAX. Great company, RE/MAX, no doubt. And she switched over to EXP. We're not going to talk about EXP now, but I will tell you that Collette, I was talking to her prior to the show, she's looking to actually sponsor 10 people. So if you're interested in moving over to EXP and you want Collette as your personal sponsor, which would basically make her your partner at EXP, she would be your mentor at EXP, she would be your personal coach at EXP. If you're interested in working really close with her, as her, essentially with her being your partner at EXP, I want you to text her or call her directly, and her cell phone number is
404-384-0850.
Okay, but you only really have time to take on 10 people. So the first 10 people that respond, if you want to have Collette work with you at EXP Realty, there you go. And I know a lot of you guys are EXP curious, and that is the easy button right there if you want to be working directly with her. If I were certainly in the, out there listening right now and I was thinking about changing brokers, and obviously I'm going to consider EXP, well, I would love to have someone like Collette as my sponsor, because look at all you're going to get. You're going to get decades of experience. You're going to get obviously a lot of energy and enthusiasm, and you can text her or call her while you're at EXP if you have any questions or issues, and she's going to be there and she's going to have your back. So you can't do much better than that, guys. So reach out to her if you just want the information that she's put together on how to essentially be a media queen like she's become, then please just text the word expert, EXPERT, to 31996, and then Collette has arranged to have the information, the outline, and other content texted directly back to you. And then if you want to reach out to her directly, that'll happen as well. So, hey, Collette, I loved it. I think we covered a lot of bases. That was fun. That was different. I was listening. I was learning. I was taking notes. Cool. Anything you'd like to say to everyone as we round the bend on today's show?
Well, like you said, there's so much you can do in this world of media, and there's so much opportunity. And you're absolutely right. I would love to mentor and coach people up who have a desire to be experts in their community. It's not about ego. It's about helping as many people as possible and giving to get. So just again, I'm so excited to be at this level that I can help people.
Excellent. So, Collette McDonald, thank you for being my co-host today, Julie. Appreciate the day off. And for the rest of you guys, have a fantastic day. We'll talk to you on the show tomorrow. Thanks, Collette.
Bye. Thank you.
This program has been a presentation by Tim and Julie Harris, Real Estate Coaching. For more information on our real estate coaching and training programs, visit our website at timandjulieharris.com. Remember to tune in weekdays at noon for upcoming shows. And until next time, thank you for listening to Real Estate Coaching Radio with Tim and Julie Harris.